Hello, 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 everyone. This is Mr. Dickens back at it again, here to provide you with some tools, some resources, some ideas, some suggestions, advice on keys to success. We know are we in some unprecedented times with COVID-19, us doing distant learning. This is new for all of us. I may, my expertise may be in educating children, but this distant learning is very new. So I know it's an adjustment for us teachers. So I know it's a big adjustment for parents, and most importantly, a big adjustment for scholars. So that's the reason why I'm doing this video. Hopefully, I can provide you guys with some insight as to what it takes to be successful, not only in the third grade but also with this distant learning. So without further ado, I would like to go ahead and get started. Here are the keys to success. All right. So what I'm going to be discussing in this video, if you want to succeed, please take heed. First thing I'll be talking about is preparation and presence. Then I'll be moving to work and websites. Third thing I will be discussing is expectations. Fourth is a growth mindset. And number five, the most important thing, being though we are dealing with uncharted territory, we all must be patient. And I'm pretty sure, just like myself, our patience has been risen to another level. Okay. All right. So first is preparation and presence. Scholars have to be present. I cannot stress that enough. I know dynamics can be very different depending on the household, but at the same time, it's important that scholars are present as much as possible. Um, I teach only math and science. Ms. Payton teach ELA and social studies, but they don't have those subjects every single day. So my homeroom, I teach them math and science on Mondays and Wednesdays, and Miss Payton's homeroom, I teach them math and science on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Fridays are set up where we can focus on skills that need strengthening. But for the most part, if a student misses Monday, they may only get one official lesson for its respective subject per week. So it's very important that they're there. And not only that, after lunch, there have been several students who may be there for the first part of the day, but they're not logging back in after lunch and recess for the second part of the day. It's very important that they are there for both subjects that they see daily. Also, scholars must be engaged. A lot of students, when they come on, everyone is expected to put in their full name. When they come into the Zoom classroom, their cameras should be on and their mic should be off. All right. And not only that, you want to make sure that your child is in an environment that is conducive for their learning. Now, I know we're at home and we're comfortable, but Mr. Dickens couldn't do a good job of teaching if I'm too comfortable. If I'm in my PJs, if I got wrapped up in a blanket, it's going to be very difficult very difficult for me to provide a very interesting, engaging lesson. So I put those same demands on the scholars. They have to be up. Not saying to get fully dressed in uniform, but at least have on a shirt. If it's cold in the house, I do understand a blanket, but a lot of students are laying down. You can see them falling asleep. But at least if they're up at a table, at a desk or something, sitting up will be very helpful. That's keep them engaged. If they already come in with a comfortable mindset, their effort is going to be very comfortable. They're not going to push themselves. So please, if you can make sure that environment is conducive and close to school as possible. Scholars must have materials next to them at all times. When class starts, no student should be asking, can I go get my book? Can I go get some paper? Can I go get a pencil? All of that stuff should be right there. It should be right there and easily accessible. It's very important. We don't want to waste time students having to go get those things. And it shouldn't even be a question. they should automatically know if I don't have my stuff, there's no reason to ask permission to go get it because you should already have it. Okay, moving on. That's preparation and present. If they're there, if they're participating, if they're giving their best effort, I guarantee you they're going to be successful. In my classroom, how well a scholar does is not based on how smart they are. It is based on their effort. And the student that works the hardest usually is the student with the best grade. Okay? Work and websites. First and foremost, all scholars need to have a Google account. I think by now, the majority, I believe everyone has a Google account. If you don't, firstname.lastname.tosin@gmail.com. Go to google.com and select create an account. If you do decide to make an account and your child is younger than 13, a lot of websites they may not be able to get to. If you feel comfortable, change their birth date year to 2005. If not, we'll work around it. Okay, but they must have a Google account, and they must check that once they have a Google account, they will have access to Google Classroom. Google Classroom is where we share all their assignments. Okay, and they need to check it 7 days a week, every single day, not Monday through Friday, 7 days a week. All right, so let me shrink this, and I'm going to show you all what it looks like when you go to Google. Well, what it looks like when your child goes to Google Classroom. Well, first and foremost, you want them to be using, they go to the start menu and they want to use Microsoft Edge at all times. If they're not going to Microsoft Edge, they will not be able to access the things in Google. So that's important. Okay, once they go to Microsoft Edge, they can type in google.com. Once they get to google.com, they want to make sure that they're logged into their account. All right, right now, I'm logged into Mr. Dickens' account, but I don't want to show you Mr. Dickens' Google Classroom. I don't want to show you from a student's point of view. So I'm going to switch that account to this demo child. This is my son. So I made him part of the class for the sake of doing videos like this so I can show you guys what it looks like from a student's point of view. Okay? One way that they can go to Google Classroom is by typing in Google Classroom. And here it is. It shows up. Doesn't even have to type it all out. All right, or you click on these 9 boxes right here and scroll down to Google Classroom. Once they go to Google Classroom, the color scheme may be different. If you're in Miss Payton's homeroom, it won't look like this. It will look like this if you're in Mr. Dickens' homeroom. And if you're in Miss Payton's homeroom, my math and science class will have a pink color scheme. And also, you should also see Miss Payton's Google Classroom for her assignments and things that she gives her students. Okay, if anyone needs to add me, or if as an adult, if you want to be added to the class, all you have to do is click this plus sign and click join and enter the join code. That information will be shared with you guys as well. Okay, so once we go into the classroom, the easiest way to check and see if they've done their work is to go to classwork. Okay, here are a list of assignments. Right here in this circle with the paper clip or question, that determines what type of assignment it is. So this is just a question assignment. This is an official assignment that they have to complete. Some assignments will require them to go to a website. Some assignments may require them to write it down in their composition book and post a picture in their online science journal, which I'll talk about a little later. All right. But a way to determine if this assignment is done or not, notice how this one is more of a faded gray, and this one is more of a darker shade of gray. If you're in Miss Payton's homeroom, this clipboard and circle will be pink, but this still will be kind of faded gray. When it's faded gray, that means they have done this. Well, that means they have turned in the assignment. It's very important that they go back and make sure that it is actually completed. Okay, so looking at this assignment right here, this is an assignment that Mr. Dickens created and shared it with all the students. So once it's turned in, I always have the ability to see it. All right. So I'm just going to unsubmit and show you what it looks like when a child has not turned that assignment in. It's going to be an option here to say it's turned in. All right. It's also going to say missing here. So once it's completed, turn it in. It's going to be sent to me. I'm going to receive a notification as the teacher, and then I'll have the ability to grade it. All right. There are also other assignments. Okay. That may require them to go to another website. Say, again, when you go on the assignment, click View Assignment. Click View Assignment. So this one will require them to leave Google Classroom, go to a whole nother site to complete this assignment. Once they do that, they need to come back to Google Classroom and click Mark as Done. Once I click Mark as Done, that's also shared with Mr. Dickens, and then I'll be able to go to that website and see their answer. They don't have to take a picture of it. They don't have to download anything. Once I create those assignments, I already have a way that it's shared with me. Okay, so let me go back. So again, as you notice, it's more of a faded gray because it has been turned in. So that's one way to check and see if your child is up to date and they have done all of their assignments. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. All right. And again, you want to check your Google Classroom every single day. You never know what's going to be in there. Everything done online will be already shared with me. No need to email me their work. No need to download or make a copy of it at all. Okay. Every student needs to create an online math and science journal where they will post pictures of what they write in their composition books. All journals must be shared with Mr. cdickens.tosin@gmail.com by clicking the share button in the upper right corner when you create your online science journal. All right, and it's kind of going to be similar to what I'm showing you right now. I'm using Google Slides to show you this presentation. They're going to use Google Slides to make their online journals. Okay, and also be on the lookout for any instructional videos that I will share throughout the school year. Again, I want to provide as much information as I can to support you all. And also here is, when I share this with you guys will be able to click here, watch a video to see how to create their own online math journal and their online science journal. A lot of students have created it already, but it hasn't been shared with me. But if it hasn't been created, it must be also shared with me. Okay, I'm going to continue. All right, here are your the work and websites. Sometimes assignments will be given on these various websites. This Savvas Realize, where I give a lot of exit tickets. This is the curriculum that we use. So it's very important that they know their Gmail and their password. All right. So for these websites to save time, what I've done is I've created a cheat sheet, which is going to be shared with everyone. But you guys have to fill out this information. I don't have time to fill out every individual student's username and password for every single website. So I try to put these notes here to help you all fill out this information. All the passwords have been filled out except for this one right here. For Renaissance, their password is going to be their first name and last name initial. So for me, it will be CD and my birth date, month, and day. October 13th. So my 4-digit number will be 1013. So it will be CD 1013. All right, so that's based on that particular child. Some of theirs may have a 1 or a 2 after their name. Only a few though, but those students I will be able to assist them with that. Also up here you see Miss Payton's Google Classroom and Mr. Dickens' Google Classroom if they ever need the links. Okay, go back to the presentation. But it's important for you to fill out that. So when they have to go to any one of these websites, they're not saying, "Oh, I don't remember," and they're not wasting a lot of time trying to figure those things out. All right, next is a growth mindset. A growth mindset is very important, not only for your scholar at this age, but any child and any person that's interested in learning. A growth mindset is basically understanding and knowing that there's going to be challenges, there's going to be mistakes. When you're learning something new, everything doesn't always go well. My son is 9 months. He's learning how to walk. He didn't stand up and just start walking and now he's a master at it. He has to go through a little bumps and bruises. He fall every once in a while. He gets back up and keep trying. Every child or every person has to use that same philosophy when they're learning something. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. But at the same time, understanding that if I give my best effort, if I keep trying, if I keep pushing, eventually I'm going to learn it. All right. So mistakes are a part of the learning process. I tell them that all the time. You must, to be engaged, students must participate. So if I say answer a question in the chat, they must answer it. If they make a mistake, that's part of the learning process. When students make mistakes, I have the ability to jump in and say, okay, that's a misconception. That's something that you may have thought. Let me help you correct your thinking. All right. Next is success is determined by hard work and effort. As I mentioned earlier, the smartest child isn't the one who always the one with the best grade. Not in my class. All right. You have to work hard, and it's all about your effort. You know, you get upset, you get angry, take a step back, get yourself together, take a couple deep breaths, come back, and be ready to knock it out. Every day will be a challenge. They're learning something new. If they haven't experienced third grade before, they are learning something new. Okay? Scholars should review skills daily, especially multiplication facts. Scholars should be adding daily. You should be asking them questions. What's 5 plus 8? What's 7 plus 13? What's 25 plus 9? You should be asking them these questions throughout the day just to get improve their fluency. Eventually, you should be asking them multiplication problems like what's 8 times 9? What's 3 times 4? What's 7 times 5? Those questions you should be asking them frequently. The more that they experience it, the more that they engage with it, the easier it is for them to learn it and remember it. All right? And please practice integrity. They will not learn if parents help their children get all their work correct. I cannot be a great teacher if I don't know what your child does not know. Okay? So if they're returning work to me and it's 100% correct all the time, and then when I give them a test or give them an assessment or an exit ticket and then they don't do well, it doesn't help me out. It really doesn't help me out. The majority of their grade will be based on the grades that they get for tests and quizzes. And I'm not talking about mandated tests throughout the school or throughout Imagine or throughout DC. I'm talking about classroom tests. Like I teach a skill and then I have to provide them with some type of assessment to see if they learn that skill. Sometimes that assessment could come in the form of out loud question. Sometimes that assessment could come in the form of writing their answers down in the chat. All right, so that can be done several different ways. But it's very important in order for me to be a great educator, I need to know what it is that I need to know the skills that your child are struggling in. Because if they got everything down pat, what's the reason for them to be in third grade? They're in third grade to learn third grade material. So the more that I know that they know, and the more that I know what they don't know, I can provide them with the things that they need to know. All right. And finally, the responsibility. I know this is new, and I want parents to really understand this. The responsibility required to keep up with virtual learning for an 8-year-old. I have a few 7-year-olds, but for a third grader overall, it's going to be very difficult if they don't have support, if they don't have guidance. If you're not checking these things out every day with them, then sometimes they're just not going to understand. They may read instructions and really not comprehend what those instructions are asking them to do. Or they may only do one step of those instructions and forget about the other step. So it's very important that you're providing that support and guidance with them. And eventually, you can step away and they can take on that responsibility themselves. But for right now, they need a lot of help. just navigating through Google Classroom, making sure everything is done, making sure things are turning. They do need a lot of help. And things don't go as planned. As we discovered in the first few weeks of school, things did not go as planned. We had something set up. We want things to go this way, and they will not, especially when you're dealing with technology. Things will not go the way you want it to. But what can we do? Everything will not always go as planned. All we can do is control what we can control. Um, I also add this: Mr. Dickens can be a little hype. I can be a little hyper in class. It may sound like I'm talking loud, or it may sound like I'm challenging your students, but I do try to push them. I do hold my expectations very high, but no way, shape, or form do I ever have any ill intent behind what I'm saying, or am I trying to approach your child in a disrespectful or negative way? I am human. I do have my flaws, and I'm constantly working on them. I try to recognize what they are, because I want to be the best educator that I can be for your child. And if I'm not providing them what they need, even if that is how I communicate with them, then they're going to shut down and they're not going to listen to me. So I totally understand that. And I'm very humble, and I'm always open to parents telling me, Mr. Dickens, you gotta scale it back. Mr. Dickens, you gotta chill when you're talking to my child. You gotta watch how you say this. I'm very open to that. I want children to be comfortable learning from Mr. Dickens, and I don't want them to shut down. And most importantly, this is all we can do. When things don't go as planned, when things are out of our control, all we can do is just be patient, with a smile. Be patient with a smile. If we can do that, things will go by much smoother, and then we're not so frustrated when things don't go our way. When we get frustrated, usually when it's difficult to resolve the issue, it's difficult to problem solve when you're angry and upset. So the more patient we can be, if you got to take a step back, take a deep breath, do that. We practice some of those techniques also in class throughout the day. I have to continuously remind myself, but it's something that we do for our sanity, for our stress level, and for the to for me to be effective and educate your children. It's what I have to do, and also for you to all to support them and guide them with what they need at home. It's very important that we all are patient as possible. So that's all I have. I will be having a meeting shortly to discuss these things and answer any questions that you guys may have. But I appreciate your time, your patience, and your support through this difficult, rough time through virtual learning. Thank you guys so much, and I look forward to speaking with you all and talking with you all in the future.